Welcome back to Season 2 of Let's Think About It with Dr. E. I'm your host, Dr. Erica Hendricks. This is a space where we don't just talk about it, but we disrupt, we dismantle, and more importantly, we think about it. But before we do anything further, I need for you to go right now to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Erica Hendricks, so you can get the latest episodes and the latest content as it drops. But before we go any further, I want to thank each and every one of you who have been riding Season 1 out with me. But guess what, guys? You don't want to miss Season 2 because it's going to be simply, absolutely amazing. So let's get back into that topic. So today, we're talking about triggered, mental health, Black America, and the culture of cancellation. Today, we're tackling a conversation that has everyone triggered. Mental health, Black America, and the culture of cancellation. And so today, I'm bringing in some thought leaders into this conversation, Dr. Darius Daniels, Roland Martin, and Dr. Tamar Bryant, and Dr. Raquel Martin, into the ring, who have framed the lens that will move us to a space of liberation theology. So get ready. This is going to hit a little different. So we talk about the climate of crisis. Let me kick off by saying that mental health isn't just trending, it's crucial. Anxiety is high. Depression, PTSD is all at an all-time high. Racial battle fatigue I believe, has reached its climax. What are you saying, Dr. Erica? What is racial battle fatigue? We have seen over the last several months that everything that seems to be Black has been targeted. We want to dismantle our history. We want to dismantle our Smithsonian Museum. We want anything that has anything Black with it. We don't want to erase the culture. But what I think they don't seem to get or seem to really understand, you can't erase something that has been the fabric of America. See, we've been here since the beginning of time. So you can't cancel something that is part of who we are and the makeup. So the daily realities of disproportionately impacting Black communities is real. We see this daily on the news. We see this daily in social media. But Roland Martin breaks it down. He says the rhetoric from the Trump administration and the polarization is fueled, is just not political, it's personal. See, this is a personal vendetta for Trump. Anybody and anything that in the first administration that either came against him, that didn't agree with him on some form or fashion, he's going after them. If that meant Black America, that means us. But it's intensified the racial trauma. I've seen more in our own race where there's been a divide. And we've got to realize it's not Black on Black. This is an administration that has set itself up to dismantle everything that represents the Black culture. It's intensified, it's deepening the divide and turning society into triggers, not only triggers, but everyday threats. You see, the threat to Black America is on the line. Let's don't get it twisted. The threat to Black America is on the line because our HBCUs are being targeted. Our very children in the educational landscape are being targeted. So now, if they want to throw out our books and they want to erase history, parents, it's up to you to teach your children what really is Black history. Black history isn't just slavery. Black history is what we invented. What I am now talking behind this mic, do you not realize a Black person invented it? Go look it up. I'm not going to give you the name because I want you to realize, to stretch your imagination and your way of thinking, that the triggering of our mental health is on the line. They're trying to make us think that we don't even exist or we're not even important. But can I tell you, lean in. Not only are we important, but you cannot erase a history without erasing Black history. So we're going to erase history. It has to be all history. But let's be honest. History can't be erased because as long as you and I are still walking and breathing and walking this live, we are history. We make history every day we walk into our jobs. We make history every day we get up because I am Black history. So the crisis has intensified. But as we look at this thing, let's kind of shift to this and let's get a little spiritual on us. Faith, freedom, and mental health is something that we have to really now put our arms around and gravitate to. Dr. Darius Daniels reminds us that mental health and spirituality aren't separate. They are intertwined. Liberation theology teaches us that true freedom encompasses emotional and spiritual liberation. Dr. Tamar Bryant takes it a little step further, and she advocates for culturally informed therapeutic interventions that heals racial trauma. You see, racial trauma needs healing. I've been in a space where I'm often thinking about the impact of the longevity of what is this going to do to Black America. The more that we talk about erasing, eradicating, getting rid of, there's going to be a pace and space and time that the healing and the trauma of this is going to have to be dealt with. And I'm really, really leaning into the fact that the church must take up the helms of bringing healing to a people and to a race. Now, we don't have to become very dogmatic in our approach, but we've got to be to a place that our congregations cannot fuel hate, but we've got to fuel love. And we've got to fuel it from a place that they may want to get rid of us, but if we lean in and think about it, they persecuted Jesus to the point that they put him on a cross and he died. And he not only died just for Black people, but he died for the sins of this world. So if we're going to talk about Jesus and what it looks like to be Black in America, he not only died for Black America, but he died for the world. So we've got to get to a point that this world has to realize that mental health is not just Black mental health. The mental health of the world is on the line. Navigating through this culture of cancellation, love and hate, you can't ignore it. Dr. Raquel Morton gives us the psychological lowdown. Counseling increases anxiety. It silences voices. It fractures communities. So here's the big question. How can we move toward accountability without tearing each other down? Here's the good news. We have options. Restorative justice offers us a path towards accountability without erasing our culture. We've got to promote growth over guilt. Are you ready to trade cancellation for a conversation? Stop canceling everything and let's talk about it. That's why I created this podcast, because we're here in this space to talk about some of those hard spaces and some of those hard conversations that we really don't want to talk about. But I've been commissioned that I've got to talk about them. Because if we don't talk about those things that trigger us, if we don't talk about those things that bring us trauma, they will forever linger and gloom over our head. They will forever be weights on our shoulders. They will forever be the elephant in the room. They will forever be those unspoken conversations at the holiday conversations. They will forever be the thing that nobody wants to talk about. But I want to challenge us. Talk about the conversation. Don't ignore it, because it's not going to go away. As long as Trump is in office, we're going to forever have conversations, those difficult ones that we're going to have to talk about. So let's bring it home to actionable steps. First, recognize your triggers. What triggers you? I'm going to be transparent. What triggers me is the blurbs on social media that they only want to put in those things that are negative, and they don't want to talk about the positive things that are happening in Black America. Whenever you only talk about what is negative and what we're not doing, or what we're supposed, quote unquote, we're not doing, and we're not talking about the strides that we're making in our culture, that triggers me. Whenever I go to spaces and places and the conversations around me are so triggered on Trump is doing such a great thing for America, and I'm asking people, can you give me some tangible things he's doing? And the only thing they can tell me is he's doing great. What is great about it? That triggers me. But I got to create a mental wellness space for myself. And now I've got to switch the lens and begin to say how I'm going to move past my triggers. I've got to move past my triggers by creating a space for me, by journaling some of those things that trigger me. Meditating on what I can do to eradicate those negative thoughts and bring some positive thoughts into some of those spaces. And my number one go-to is I got to pray about it. If I can't pray about it, it's a problem. But I realize that prayer is my number one weapon to my negativity. Prayer is my number one thing to my mental health. If I can pray about it, then God can fix it. If I can pray about it, God can make a way. If I can pray about it, then I know that God knows what's on my heart. Because I realize that prayer is the key that opens the door to opportunities. Pray about it. And then for some people, you got to move from prayer to therapy. Therapy may be your window of opportunity for you to be able to explore your triggers and move past them. But whatever grounds you, find that space to bring you back to a place where you can normalize your dialogue, and not always in a place of debate, but bring compassion over condemnation. Set boundaries, and yes, foster spaces of healing, growth, and collective accountability. Dr. Darius Daniels and Dr. Tamar Bryant emphasizes this. Resilience isn't personal, it's communal. We've got to have communal faith. It brings about accountability, strength, and a place that we can grow together and not bring a divide. We've got to come together as a community and realize my mental health is just as important as your mental health. So today we've delved deep into this conversation of encouragement and reflection. But remember this, a divisive times calls for clarity, community, compassion, and accountability. These are your best allies. Mental wellness isn't a luxury, it's essential. Continue prioritizing your mental health. Engage with empathy and consistency. Advocate for emotional and spiritual freedom. Until next time, this is Dr. E, reminding you to keep thinking, to keep remembering, keep healing, keep praying, but more importantly, keep thriving. As I've always said on my Freedom Friday, if no one's told you today, let me be the first to tell you I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Live life and live life on purpose. Have an amazing day.